Hi, my Geminis. This is Alex Angel, and I am here to bring you your first half of March 2020 Angel and Tarot card reading. I am working out of my bedroom this month because my little Augie doggy is not feeling too well. So I am in my bedroom with him. Anyway, I have your current energy cards all laid out using the Gilded Tarot along with the Rider Waite and then Earth Magic in the end. So it looks like for you guys, Gemini, I know you have been going through it as of late. So it looks like you guys basically get some clarity. It almost even feels like you guys have had a burst of love or inspiration. I know we just had a full moon in Virgo. Virgo and Gemini are also ruled by Mercury, so you guys could have been affected by that Virgo full moon as well. But it kind of looked like, everything might have been going great, or it looks like, you started to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And then, boom, not necessarily controversy or any kind of challenge, but a monkey wrench for sure. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read them row by row versus, position by position. And then again, and we got the Two of Swords at the bottom of the deck. If I can turn it this way. Two of Swords at the bottom of the deck. And then also at the bottom of the Gilded Tarot are the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so let's get started. First off, we have the Queen of Cups, which indicates, emotion, high emotion, love, nurturing, caring, compassion, outward. I kind of feel like maybe you guys connected to somebody or something that warmed your heart, opened your heart up. With the Temperance card here, it feels like everything was going well, like we were compatible. They were the yin to your yang, or the yang to your yin, either or. And it kind of looks like maybe things took a serious turn with the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is tough love. It is raw, blunt, unadulterated truth. It is, the wolf that was revealed under the sheep's clothing. This to me, though, feels like a decision. This to me feels like, maybe something was put on the table. Maybe you had a decision to make. Look at also, too, what's at the bottom of the deck. Like you had a decision to make. I don't know if you were forced to make a decision. It almost even feels like it was a very important decision. It was a fly-by-night decision. And I kind of feel like you're happy with it. I kind of feel like, it was either maybe a sacrifice for the relationship, maybe a sacrifice for your heart. Maybe somebody had to tell you a truth, get something off their chest. A truth was revealed that, let you guys know how somebody truly, really feels about you. It just kind of looks as though there was some sort of strong communication that existed in a situation where, again, there could have either been multiple parts, multiple parties involved, and the end result, the Nine of Swords. If this is not you, Gemini, which I really don't feel like it is, I really feel like it's somebody who was in this situation with you, right? We have the Nine of Swords here, and then we have it here. So we have the Nine of Swords twice. right? I do kind of feel like, angels, was this Gemini? I feel like this was something that you guys basically had to deliver to somebody, right? And looking at this top row, it almost looks like you were the queen, head of household, mother, somebody in a nurturing, compassionate position. It was almost like you had all of these different moving parts, all of these ingredients that you had to like come to a conclusion on. It was for the benefit and the best. It was for the best. It benefited the relationship. It was a decision that was best for the relationship. And unfortunately, it's just going to leave people feeling alienated, blocked out, locked out. It even may be, whereas you started out looking like this, the Queen of Hearts, and then in the end, you kind of walked away looking more like the Queen of Swords, right? As in, this was a harsh truth and a harsh reality that kind of fell in your lap, and you were the person who had to basically level things out, kind of make a hard decision and bring things, quote unquote, back in order. The second row is the Ace of Pentacles with the Judgment, right? And yeah, that exactly says to me that there was some sort of sacrifice that had to be made for the family. And because of it, things are now working out in your favor where, say, for instance, there's this new flow of cash, opportunity, material that's coming towards you and your family. And again, it looked as though it was something that had to be done. Angels are saying to me, it almost even feels like you guys cut somebody off. And it was something that had to be done. Mr. and Mrs. Scorpio sitting right there, the death card, and then we have Aquarius there. This could have involved an Aquarius and or a Scorpio themselves. Whereas, oh, there it is, there it is, there it is. Angels just said to me, I kind of feel like this, if you are dealing with a Scorpio or an Aquarius per se, it's almost like you block this person out, you lock this person out because you kind of felt like maybe it benefited you, it benefited your emotional well-being. But with these two here, it almost seems like it's something that continues to sit in the back of your mind, your heart. It's almost like, yes, you've corrected the situation, but there's still like this mental anguish, right? There's just still, the person is not going away. They're also saying to me too, it could be a matter where you have to have this hard conversation with either a Scorpio or an Aquarius, and kind of get out what it is that you need to get out, talk to, about what really matters to you, what means a lot to you. And, kind of the temperance also there with the Judgment basically says, we're weighing, we're balancing, we're going through trials and tribulations, we're going back and forth, we're trying separate things, we're allowing things to mature, we're kind of like maybe taking a wait and see attitude before making a final decision. And it kind of feels like maybe with this final decision, it's very hurtful, and it could, again, if it's not the other person, as I've mentioned earlier, Gemini, it could be you, where again, it was a tough decision, but you had to make it to keep your love or relationships alive. But I just kind of feel here, especially the Two of Cups with the Death card, it was almost like you made this necessary sacrifice. You've changed the situation. And for some of you, it was almost like you sacrificed somebody for the sake of your relationship. And for others, it's almost like you, not necessarily saying have to sacrifice the relationship for love, but it's almost like you had to change who you are for the sake of your relationship, or you had to change something completely. We're talking a complete 180-degree change You had to kill a certain part of yourself, a certain habit. You know, you got a nasty mouth. You know, there was something that you had to basically give up and let go for the sake of this relationship or for the sake of a loved one. And then also what I'm getting to, angels are also saying, I kind of feel like you cut somebody off for the sake of your relationship as well, right? I also kind of feel, especially with these two Nine of Swords there, and then also the Star card, is I kind of feel like you're acknowledging and realizing that this person that you cut off or that you cut out, that you actually need them, and you understand and realize that you are not better off without them. And now you have to figure out, say for instance, what are the next cuts to be made to bring in or to usher in, say for instance, this new offer, to start a brand new relationship, to start a brand new opportunity, to bring, a certain level of value back into your life, back into your relationships. Okay. So for Gemini, it just kind of feels like here, um, you guys have been doing a lot of thinking about this thing or this person that you've cut out. Um, so you can kind of quote unquote live happily ever after, so you can feel good about yourselves, so your relationship is unaffected. It's almost like you did that, but in the end, you still feel like shit. And at the end of the day, your relationship could be going very freaking well, but you still feel like this void. And now, again, you just have to kind of go back to the drawing board and figure out what to do, how to redesign this thing where you're not feeling like shit and you don't feel this void. Okay? So those are your main cards. And of course, you hear me shuffling in the background. I probably should put that on camera so you guys can see it. You hear me shuffling my Earth Magic cards. I'm going to pull 3 cards to top this off with angelic advice and guidance. Okay, so let's see what we have. First card up is Waterfall, Effortlessness. I love this. This is the flow of water. This is basically going with the flow. This is, the ebb and flow, right? It doesn't say it here, and there is a card that's called Ebb and Flow. But it's almost like, for some reason, angels are like gravity controls waterfalls, right? It makes sense. Right? Waterfalls also represent crying. Waterfalls represents, wishful thinking, don't go chasing waterfalls, right? So I just kind of feel like, for a lot of you guys who are in this situation where you feel like you might have been struggling a lot, you feel like you might have been, dealing with this situation for a long time and you're a bit tired of it. Maybe now is the time to stop making so many damn decisions and just go with the flow, and let the effortless movement of the universe manage your situations instead of you guys always trying to quote unquote manhandle them. Okay. Next card up is Forest and Breath. Almost said breathe, but it's forest and breath, right? Trees give us oxygen, right? So angels are saying to me, this is basically find another source, right? Find a source that makes you happy. Find a source. Because I kind of feel like whatever this is that you guys have been dealing with has been exhausting. So this card here to me says you need a change of scenery to help reset you, to help you breathe again, to help produce a new air in the situation, a new air in the environment, right? Instead of, say, for instance, continuing to breathe the same old quote unquote toxic energy of what you've already been dealing with. Last card up, I love it, Fire, Passion. This to me is a soft like anger, right? We all know when we get angry, we are very passionate in that anger, right? So anger is almost like negative passion. Excuse me. However, the fire of this passion to me is motivation. I kind of feel like eventually once you do kind of take this, time out, kind of go with the flow, kind of relax, give yourself a break from whatever this issue is, you're going to come back with full fury and, kind of put your foot down and get things done. Okay. What I'm also hearing for you is it's time to move on. Whatever the situation is that you guys have been dealing with, I kind of feel like you've been dealing with for a while. And angels, God, and universe is basically saying, okay, it's time to move on. You've been here too long. Like, move it along, Gemini. Not only that, but I'm also getting to that as you start to move along, you will enter new terrains, new environments, new positions. So it's almost like if you are tired of one situation, move on, because physically and literally that will be moving on from one place to another, right? So by default, you move away from something into something else. All right, my darling, beautiful Geminis, I hope that helps. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys for the first half of April. Thanks.